There's a man on the moon, as I saw this big dog, but maybe they were making up stories to frighten us. Times are changing as we go on.
The parish of Tiernascragh is situated in East Galway. It is one half of the combined parish of Kilimer and Tiernascragh. Tieranascra, when translated from the Irish language, means the land at the head of the esker. The esker, or sand hill, formed as a result of the Ice Age, is the main feature of the townland from which the parish derives its name. The parish graveyard is sited on this esker and contains the ruins of the earliest known church in the parish, believed to be dated from the 17th century. Vatican documents confirm the existence of the parish as far back as 1302.
Here in Tiernascragh we have a rich history of storytelling and legend. In 1937, the Irish Folklore Commission decided to collect the folklore of Ireland to preserve our cultural identity. They found the best way to do this was to invite the children from the national schools around the country to gather the stories from their parents, their grandparents, their uncles, their aunts, and to write it down in essay form. 9 children from Tiernascragh National School, under the direction of their teacher Eamon Quigley, submitted essays to the Folklore Commission. These are now housed in the Department of Folklore at UCD in Belfield in Dublin.
My name is Hannah Medden. I was born in Hannah-Egan and I came from the Deer Park in Ballycrisson. I was born in August 1925. I started school here in Tiernascragh at 5.5 years of age.
My name is Maisie Welch, formerly Maisie Egan, born in Deer Park, Constable, I suppose, parish, but we came to school in Tiernascragh. I was born in June 1924. I'm not sure what age I was when I started, but I do remember my first day. Miss Cummins and Mrs. Quigley was my first teachers, where I remained until 3rd class, I think. Then moved out into the master's room for the remainder of the time I was in school, and I left school in 1940.
Can you remember much about Mr. Quigley? Or can you tell me much about him?
I can remember him very well because he did most of his teaching to me. He was my master most of the time that I can remember in school. I spent most of my time with him from 3rd class on.
Did you enjoy your time with him?
I enjoyed it very much. Some people didn't. But I suppose you'll always get that. But I can remember he was very fair and a very good teacher.
Hannah, how about your memories?
Well, they're much the same, I suppose, really, yeah. There's nothing very much different. He taught a lot through Irish, with the result that when we went out in the world, we weren't doing maths in Irish. I didn't tell you, I went to a shop to work and I was not able to do my maths and my additions in English. I was always saying 1, 2, 3. And I found myself lost for that reason, yeah. And the Irish language was his principal subject. He was very much an Irish man.
Hannah, can you remember, if I take you back to 1937 when you were in school, writing essays for the Folklore Commission?
I remember writing them all right, but I can't remember exactly what I did write. But I remember him telling us all to gather the folklore from the old folks at home and listen to them and ask them the questions. And again, make sure you listen to the stories and write it down and bring it into school here to me tomorrow and the day after, whatever it might be, yeah. But I never remember what I wrote until I saw it now. And I couldn't believe my eyes.
And Maisie, can you remember writing the essays?
I can remember writing them, but a lot of what I wrote I can't even remember what it was. I know that we were supposed to inquire from old people stories about things that happened, or storms maybe that happened, or things like that. But I don't remember much else about it. Local heroes. There was a man in Ballykill named Cunyer. He made a bet of £5 with the mail car that he would be in Limerick on foot before it. He was, and he won his bet. There was a man living in one time in Ballinlough
named Frank Hogan, who walked to Galway, which was about 14 miles from him.
If sparks fly out of the fire towards you, it is a sign that you are getting money.
The signs of the weather. There are a great many signs of knowing when bad weather and good weather is coming. If the ashes looks blue, it is a sign of bad weather. If you see a dog eating grass, it is a sign of rain.
November Eve is on the 31st of October. On that night, the children have great fun. They make a sweet cake and they put a ring in it. They hang an apple out of the ceiling and everyone tries to get a bite out of it. Then they put 3 saucers on a table. And in the first one they put clay, in the second one they put water, and in the third one they put a ring. Then they put a pohog on one of them, and if he puts his hand in the clay, he will be going to die. If he puts his hand in the water, he will be going overseas. And if he puts his hand in the ring, he will be getting married.
Long ago, the people had no clocks and had to depend on the cock to call them, and when the cock would crow, they would get up. There is an old saying, a whistling woman and a crowing hen is worse than the devil and all his men.
12 night. That is the night for lighting the 12 little candles. And each person takes a candle for himself. And the person's candle that is burned the first will die the first. In the olden times, the people used to buy no candles for 12 night, but they used to melt grease and get rushes and peel them then, and then dip them in the grease and get a turnip then and stick them in it.
There is a crock of gold hiding at the Green Door as you go to Petuna, and there is a black cat minding, and that cat goes to Mass in Climate every Sunday. There were some people up there told by a voice to get it.
A leg of mutton and roasting it and leave it on the cat's path so that to delay her, because she would stop to eat it and they could have it gone while the cat was eating the mutton. She used to leave after the elevation of the host, but those people were afraid to get it.
My name is Father Ray Hogan. I am a Mill Hill missionary. I was born in 1926, January 1926. I am 85 years of age. My first time in school I was about 3.5 years of age, and I was only a few days in school when a black priest, an African priest, came in to speak to us. And I had very little knowledge of what he was talking about. I didn't know what Africa was or anything like that. Anyway, he came over to me and took me in his arms and spoke to me. And I was so frightened that I began to cry and he dropped me, left me. But I've never forgotten that. In fact, I remember because I spent many years later on as a priest in Africa. Mr. Whitley I found to be a great teacher because many times he took the girls out to be taught how to sew and mend and so forth, and all the boys were together, and he had a message for us in teaching us history. He had a map of Ireland and he would point to a particular place and ask us to say something about that place. It was that inspired me to have a love of history, and he had a great love of history. I was a parish of Tiernascragh, and so that's how I developed my interest in history.
Fairy forts. There was a fairy fort in Dermy's Tillage. In the older times, the people used to bury the children that died without being baptised in the fort.
On St. Bridget's Eve, we didn't dress up actually, we just went down in our own clothes, but we might have a doll which would represent St. Bridget. And we went round to the houses, sing a song or play music if somebody had a tin whistle or something like that. And get something, we might have to be only coppers in most of the houses at that time. But we might collect maybe 4 or 5, maybe 7 or 8 shillings at that time, which was a lot of money in old music, the very old money. And what we used to do was make a sort of a party night out of it, which would go on from 7 o'clock in the evening until 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And it was only children, all under a certain age, no adults, they weren't allowed in. But we enjoyed that, and that's how we learnt our dancing.
We learned how to dance the sets and the waltz and the siege of Venice and all that sort of thing. We learned how to dance a reel and a jig.
The barn dances.
Yes, yeah. And this big kitchen was in Conroy's in the Deer Park, and we could fit a set and a half on it. And I needn't tell you, there was some great fun in them times. The odd adult might try to put their nose in and kind of interrupt now and again, but they didn't get too much, weren't accepted for too long.
We're here in Ryan's house in Ballinalug, Tiernascragh parish, and I'm very privileged to be talking to Annie Gibbons. And Annie,
Ryan.
Thank you for talking, born Annie Ryan.
Thank you.
And thank you for talking to me. And I believe you actually came into the world in this house.
I did.
What year would you like to tell me?
1919, 23rd of October 1919.
I presume the times were hard but happy growing up, were they?
Oh, very hard. Hard work and no money.
All reared off the land, of course.
All reared off the land. Your own milk and butter, your own eggs, your own potatoes, your own cabbage, your own everything.
And of course you grew your own corn and straw for the thatching, yeah?
Yeah, and thrashed it and all the rest of it.
Do you remember
the straw for thatching.
Do you remember the thrashings?
I do.
Big occasions?
Big occasion. When you got 2 2-pound pots of jam that time and a half a dozen bread for a thrashing, it was big, it was a big novelty.
And you had to do the catering, of course, as well, I presume.
Well, the lads, my brothers had help at the time too, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be able to cater for 18 or 20 men on your own. They'd have to be filling kettles and boiling water and making tea and all the rest of it.
And you remember cooking on the pots and the ovens?
I do, and I baked bread in it. I did remember all that.
And you all survived well on it?
Well, we did the best we could.
It's important to us to remember the people who wrote those essays in 1937. It must be remembered that Tiernascragh and the rest of Ireland was totally different then from what it is today. But we want to show the generations now and the generations to come what those people did and why they did it and how it came to shape the way we are today.
While it might be true to say that our parish is rather small in comparison to others, it is nevertheless rich in history and heritage. We are rather proud of our past and confident of our future. If you should ever decide to visit here, you can be assured of the finest welcome.